madness, then you just keep doing that. And these people who are in control of what's going on, that's exactly what they would give you. Pure, unadulterated madness. That's what you're going to get. Now, if you want to be aware of what's going on, then you must stay in tune with like-minded people, put yourself in the best possible position to succeed, and then you'll get better results. See, all this, again, this is why I don't do the name calling. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't above name calling before I enlightened my own mind. But you need to know who you are so you can move forward. And once you move forward, you'll find yourself in a great situation and you'll pull yourself out of this nonsense. And I'm just being 100% honest with you. A lot of people don't get it. A lot of people don't receive it. But it's amazing what will happen to you if you looked into your background and found out how great you truly are. And then what will happen will be this. You will put yourself in a situation to whereas you will be wildly successful because the pride will kick in at that point. The pride will kick in. I'm going to drop a little link in my chat room. If you're not listening, if you're a background listener, thank you for tuning in. Please hit like. Please hit share on your social media. But I'm going to drop this link in there. And this is the next thing I'm going to talk about. It is the convention of colored people. You're like, colored people? That's kind of disrespectful. Let's not focus on the pronouns. Let's focus on what's going on. This is a 200-year-old organization I just put in the chat room. 200 years. People who look like me and you have been meeting and discussing how to improve this. 200 years ago, we were slaves, right? You talking about the late 1700s, the early 1800s, 1820. Yes, 1820. You had people who looked like me and you who were meeting up and discussing how we could become a better nation. While their brothers and sisters were in bondage, they were walking around this country free, and they were doing everything they could to ensure that their children and grandchildren would not suffer. If you don't understand what this means is, I'll give you some of the people whose grandchildren that you know their grandfathers was at these meetings. Some clown by the name of W.E.B. Du Bois. Yeah, W.E.B. Du Bois, his grandfather was at these meetings. He went on to be one of the greater minds in the history of the United States of America, especially from our community. Langston Hughes' grandfather, he was there. This dude was one of the greatest poets, writing poignant art about our community, mentally uplifting us, spiritually uplifting us. That's just to name two people. And yeah, guess what? It was brothers and sisters walking around these United States of America, not in chains, not being whipped. They were upstanding, intelligent citizens of this union, and they were part of a collective to make us better. See, when you never know those things, you live in the world in which, man, it ain't never going to get better, man. They're going to continue to do what they've been doing to us. So what's the point? And I get that sentiment, but once you learn things like this, what you do is put yourself in a position of power. So at some point, you and your friends and your neighbors can do the same thing. Because if you could do this in the 1800s, 1820, 40 years, 40 years before the Civil War, 40 years before the Civil War, you had brothers and sisters walking around, upstanding citizens, business owners, and astute enough to hold a conference to make things better for their ancestors. How can you not be able to do that? That's a point of pride. That I believe that's a point of pride that you should have and never allow anyone to interfere with that point of pride. And you can use that as a building block to ensure that your life can continue to be better. Because if I could do it in the midst of that kind of chaos, how difficult could it be to do that on your block, and in your district, and in your city, or part of town, or in your state, and then nationwide? See, when you hear these things, you go, that's a pipe dream, man. But when your ancestors did it in the face of tyranny, terrorism, oppression, and the fear of what I'm going to talk about next, should be anything for you to do it. It should be nothing for you to do it. And that's why I'm bringing it up. Because if you don't know, you don't know. Because we've turned our children over 6 hours a day, and they've learned a system about how to worship people who hate you. How to worship some of the most wicked and vile people in the history of the world. Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, Andrew Jackson, Abraham Lincoln, and others. Those are just the facts. Oh man, they were the fathers of our country. No, they were the very first people who reigned terror over North America, South America, Central America, and the Caribbean. Period. That's who they are. That's all they are. You know. They're not some great men. And now some of them, James Madison, Thomas Jefferson, had great minds. But hell, if you sit down and talk to anybody who could own someone, rape a child, have children by the child, take the child around the world, they might have some great minds as well. You might see these people as great men and great individuals. No, you might see those men as men who helped build this nation. I made a mistake. I posted something in the wrong damn show. I'm slipping, but that's why you make mistakes. So you can fix it. You acknowledge mistakes so you can fix it. Yeah, I done put stuff in a whole nother show, y'all. I'm slipping. But that's why you acknowledge these things. There you go. That's the conference that I was just telling y'all about. And now I can speak to the people that I thought I spoke to. Well, I think I spoke to them in Lisa's show. I was listening to Lisa's show earlier. Shout out to Lisa. Awesome show earlier. But, like I said, when you know about these things, I personally feel you should get a jolt of pride from these things. And when you get that jolt of pride, it should motivate you. Or even if it doesn't motivate you, it should put you in a position to think, hey man, the next time somebody tries to do something, maybe I'll be a part of it and be on the right side of history. Maybe, maybe not. But your brothers and sisters was at this color conference. Your ancestors were there, moving and shaking, doing the things that everybody in the world that looks like you should want to do. And if that doesn't motivate you, I don't know what will. I really don't. Because, see, when you look at these things, you go, wow. 200 years ago, they were constructing this nation, not including my folks. And how did my folks say, hey, we don't need that. We know y'all don't mean us any good. We know the Constitution that y'all writing has nothing to do with us. And we know you guys are going to keep your foot on our necks as long as you humanly can. So what I will do is put myself in a situation to where as this nation grows, since they're talking about their future and in the futures of their children and things like that. I'm going to do what's best for me and mine. So if they can do that under the pressure they were under, why can't we do it now? Now we're under the same pressure. That's the wickedness of this situation. We're under the exact same pressure. If you know anything about Dr. Claude Anderson, you know 1/2 of 1% of the population. We own 1/2 of 1% of the wealth here in the United States of America. In 1861, the eve of the Civil War, and in 2020, we own 1/2 of 1% of the wealth. The difference is our community is not as close. What they've done is enforce that slave death count or death count for Africans mentality on us and let us roam free throughout North America and the rest of the world. Because what they did was make it so you will have no intention on unifying. You will have no intention on doing what's best for you and yours. You have no intention on doing anything but surviving and getting to the next day. And that's what we do out here now. I'll take you back to 1961. 900 elected officials. You had 1/2 of 1% of the wealth in the United States of America. Here we are, 60 years later, 1/2 of 1%, and that legislation with 10,000 elected officials. But again, it goes back to, what are you asking them to do? What are you demanding for them to do? Nothing. You can't show up at your significant other's place and just sit on the couch, stomach growling like a hungry fox in your lap, and go, he or she know I'm hungry, so you need to go, because it's 6 o'clock and people eat at 6 o'clock. You can't do that. Not to be successful. You cannot do that and be successful. Period. If you want to be successful, what you're going to have to do is turn to that person and say, hey, I'm hungry. Can you help me? And then they'll do what they have to do to ensure you a successful meal. And that's the way the world works. It doesn't work some mystical way where you know what I want and I know what you want. Because, hey, how about this? I would challenge. What if I challenged everybody in my chat room, everybody who listens to my show, to text or put in the chat room what black people need? I guarantee you will get 50 different answers. I guarantee you will get 50 answers. If it's 1,000 people in my chat room, you will get 800 different answers. So how is it that we expect these people, even if they're part of our community, to do what's best for us if we're not even saying what's best for us? And you can argue, well, HRap, you got 800 different choices. And this is where unity comes in at. This is why they had those conventions. They got together and decided what was the most important thing. Like, if you look at this Donald Trump platinum plan, insulting is all get out. The platinum plan for the black community, really? Who you had co-write it? Puff Daddy? Master P? Back in the 90s? The golden platinum tank. But one of the first things that's on there is Juneteenth is a national holiday. I don't have anything against Juneteenth. I love it, as a matter of fact. I knew about Juneteenth before 2020. Most of my brothers and sisters didn't, and they ain't holding that against them, but they didn't. Therefore, it was, wow, I didn't know. But if Juneteenth is never a national holiday, I'll be okay. My life would be cool. If they never say, hey, Juneteenth is a national holiday, you don't have to go to work that day. I'll be okay. Like Ice Cube's Contract Black America, legalize marijuana. I don't smoke weed. Never have. How's it helping me, Cube? And those are the things that I'm talking about. That Contract for Black America and Platinum Plan. But as Malcolm X mentioned at